What Are We Looking At Here is a film review podcast. There will be significant spoilers in every episode, so if you haven't seen the movies I'm discussing, please do pause here and go see them before continuing. I talk about all kinds of films and all kinds of topics, so some content may not appeal to you. You can check out the content warnings in the show notes and decide if this episode is right for you. What are we looking at here? Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about Monsters, Inc. and the deaths of Ian Stone, and how they're really kind of the same movie. In the deaths of Ian Stone, Ian thinks he's just a regular guy, going to work in a regular job, coming home to his girlfriend and a normal life. But it turns out he's a demon. He doesn't remember being a demon because the other demons have blocked his memories. It turns out this is just as well, though, because if Ian can't remember who he used to be, then the group of angry demons who constantly hunt him down won't be able to find the girl. The angry demons corner Ian and demand that he tell them how he did what he did to them. When he has literally no idea what they're talking about and can't answer them, they kill him. He wakes up in a new life, not really remembering the life he was just removed from, but still knowing that something is wrong. The demons corner him again, interrogate him, and kill him again when he can't answer. He wakes up in a third new life, and then a fourth, and a fifth, and so on. Each time he remembers more and more quickly about the previous lives, but he still doesn't remember having been a demon himself. Eventually, a strange guy pulls him into an alley and tells him, "You're a demon, and I'm a demon, and the demons following you are just as angry at me as they are at you. We hurt the other demons, you see, and they want to know how, so that they can eliminate this threat. They put you in this cycle of made-up lives, torturing and killing you over and over, in hopes that you'll reveal the secret." Ian asks a lot of things. He's got a lot of questions. He still doesn't know the secret. He still doesn't remember being a demon. The strange guy in the alley tells him, "You have to protect her. You have to protect the girl." Ian realizes then that in each of his lives he sees the same girl, Jenny. Sometimes she's a coworker, sometimes she's a neighbor, sometimes she's a stranger he's driving home in a cab. But she's always there. She doesn't seem to be a demon or to be aware of what's happening to Ian, and now that Ian knows she's the key to everything, he works really hard to keep her safe, which of course just alerts the angry demons to her presence. The strange guy from the alley tells Ian that he used to have a girl too. Ordinarily, the demons just wander the earth, feasting on humans' fears like creepy fear vampires. But one day the strange guy had found a human he loved. Unfortunately, he had not been able to protect this woman he loved, but he wants to help Ian protect Jenny. Ian's love of Jenny, he explains, is how he hurt the other demons. It turns out that feeling love is more powerful than fear, and that sharing humans' love and joy makes a demon much stronger than feasting on our fears. Ian eventually recovers his full memory, saves the girl, and sets out to battle the other demons as they continue to feed on the unsuspecting human race. Monsters, Inc., in sharp contrast, is not a dark movie full of gore and horrific imagery and murderous demons who sometimes use bad language. It's a cartoon for kids, wherein we're introduced to a city of monsters. This city is powered by human children's screams, which are harvested by hard-working monsters who sneak into the human world through children's closets. Conventional wisdom, from generations back, says that human children are extremely dangerous, and so when two of the hard-working monsters, Sully and Mike, accidentally bring a child back with them to Monster World, they're seriously alarmed. They don't want to be irradiated or infected or or whatever it is that human children do that makes them so dangerous. They also don't want to get in trouble for bringing a kid back to the city. But they realize pretty quickly, really very quickly, that this human child is no threat at all. They also discover that human kids' laughter is far more powerful than their screams. There are those who don't want to hear it. Their manager, Waternoose, for example, just wants Sully and Mike to comply with the existing protocols. He even decides that since it's become a lot harder to scare kids than it used to be, and therefore there's a bit of a scream shortage, it would be preferable just to kidnap the kids and really, really scare the crap out of them for maximum harvestability. His kidnapping plan and his willingness to sacrifice others for his scheme are eventually revealed, and he's arrested and led away. The monsters start trying to make kids laugh instead of scaring them. The city has more energy than ever before, and Mike and Sully are regarded as heroes. So yeah, the two stories differ wildly in plot and tone, but their underlying message is the same. Love and joy are more powerful than fear. In Monsters, Inc., of course, the bad guys are a little more vanilla, just ordinary plotting and scheming, but the heroes in both films end up promoting a love-based approach to the human world. But of the two, Monsters, Inc. is a lot darker. At some point, the monsters learned that human children's screams were fuel. Were they inadvertently hurt by a child or by something else in the human world? Maybe. But no one had ever examined their belief, even though it's obvious very quickly that human kids aren't dangerous. So at some point, someone decided to convince the other monsters that human kids were dangerous, and the monsters had used that ever since as justification to harvest screams. It's a lot easier to hurt things that scare them than things that don't. In the deaths of Ian Stone, the demons are also more than happy to hurt things that scare them, but they don't pretend to be anything but demons feeding off humans. In Monsters, Inc., though, the characters who've been scaring children forever only acknowledge the wrongness of what they've done through the lens of rooting out a villain who offered to hurt the children even more. It's Waternoose, he's to blame, and he's carted off to face justice, and the other monsters can go on their merry way. But the system of harvesting screams has clearly been around a lot longer than Waternoose. He wasn't the one who convinced the city that children were dangerous. The real villains are the monsters, all the monsters, not only because they never ask if what they've been told is true, but also because they've always been happy, just like Ian's demons, to hurt things that scare them. I would say that of the two films, Monsters, Inc. is more truly a horror film. If we look at it in terms of the genre definition of horror, wherein somehow, on some level, the bad guy wins. The Deaths of Ian Stone ends with Ian cheerfully dominating and overcoming the bad guys. But Monsters, Inc. ends with the monsters pinning everything on Waternoose and putting the whole thing out of their minds. Even though they find a better way to run the city, they don't really learn anything about their own part in the error. They learn a fact, but no introspection or wisdom, so they may easily be led astray again. Ian has learned about himself and starts working for good, while the monsters have chosen blame and scapegoating, and they still harvest things from unwitting children who can't consent or refuse. Ian becomes a demon who fights evil with the power of his own love. The monsters remain creatures who feed off the helpless and fancy themselves the good guys because their targets stopped screaming. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed it, please spread the word. If you want to check out my other content, you can visit my website at www.smrcooper.com. I hope you have a good week and that things go your way. And if you get a chance, watch a movie.